Hi there, the bipolar lesbian here, and I'm here today to talk about bipolar disorder and stopping your medications, either gradually or cold turkey. Actually, here to talk about more of the cold turkey version of this because I have firsthand experience with that. Get the bright idea in your mind that everything's going well, so in a manic state, you stop your medication, perhaps. If you've ever done that, you know the consequences of what happens after that. You start getting the mood swings again really bad, the irritability, the obsessive thoughts, the intrusive thoughts. At least for me, I become either very manic. Usually that's what it is. I will start being very wild in my behavior, very reckless, and I'm talking about doing things that I know that an untreated someone with untreated bipolar disorder has a hypertensity to be able to go to these items that you wouldn't regularly do in a normal medicated state, such as the hypersexuality, the impulsiveness of your actions, the fast talking perhaps with the manic states. In my manic states, I know that I can usually chat a mile a minute and worry my friends and family, and that's no fun. Scares them, scares me when you realize, what's been going on in the moment of clarity that we all sometimes, I think, get during one of our states. But yes, I've done that a couple times in my life where I've decided that I no longer need the medication, so let's stop it. And that has led me to completely break down after a intensive manic period where perhaps I don't sleep for over 72 hours. Usually that's the magic number with me. I'm usually up for 3 days and then I'll crash for a whole day. While I'm up for those 3 days, I am cleaning the whole house, fine tooth comb, usually scrubbing things down to the point that I'm scrubbing things in the cracks with a toothbrush and just completely overhauling what is my house and my life. And I know that those manic states are only going to last a few days, so it's a big downer in the back of my mind, because I know that one day that I'm going to wake up and I'm going to be dead on the inside, really. There's nothing really other to describe it than I'm going to be completely empty and devoid of all emotions and feelings. I'm going to be so depressed. I'm going to be so probably hypomanic usually is what I end up in. I am so depressed, but at the same time, I get the extreme irritability. I start yelling at people for no reason. I start getting irritated with the little things in life. And I go and find destructive means to cope with these feelings. And like I mentioned a couple of them before, well, I have done reckless things like that before, and it has led me to realize that, maybe I should talk to somebody about this because it's not too good. And so, yes, stopping your medication cold turkey, not recommended thing to do. Do not do it. I would say perhaps have a gatekeeper, a watcher of you. I don't mean to demean anyone by saying you need a babysitter, but perhaps have a confidant in your life that you can go to, and they watch you for signs and maybe symptoms that you may not be taking your medication like you were supposed to be doing. I know with myself, I have a 7-day pill thing that I have my medication set up in. I try to stay diligent on taking them. I do forget sometimes, maybe a day, I'll forget my medication. One day is not going to kill you. depending on what medication you are, if you miss more than 2 to 3 days, I would recommend stopping the medication, talking to your psychiatrist, talking to your doctor, whoever is prescribing the medication, and seeing if you need to start on a lower dose again. Because I know one of the medications I was on before, called Lamictal, probably heard of it if you're in the bipolar community. It's a very used medication for treatment. The starting dose is usually 25 milligrams, and they up you double the dose every 2 weeks on that. I was once taking 400 milligrams of that. Didn't really work for me. I ended up switching medications, so I digress. Going back to the medication Lamictal, you miss one day, you're fine. Take the next dose tomorrow as needed. You miss 2 days, you're starting to leap into trouble. You miss 3 days, do not take your dose again. Do not take the dose again. Lamictal is a very powerful drug in the way it can respond to the body's immune system. If you stop taking the drug for more than 3 days, you have to go back to your starting dose, because if you start back up on your regular 400 milligram dose or anything like that, you could develop a very rare side effect called Stevens-Johnson syndrome. And basically that is going to wreck your body and give you horrible skin peeling blisters. You're going to have to be hospitalized. This is a very rare side effect, so I'm not trying to terrify anyone who might be on Lamictal. However, you need to watch out for that, especially if you start developing a rash. Immediately talk to an ER personnel. Go to the ER if you start developing a rash while you're on Lamictal, because that is a very bad sign. It could lead you to a lot of danger. Lithium, I was on that for a while as well. I can't remember if you have to go back to your starting dose after 2 or 3 days, but I would still recommend talking to your doctor about it. As for the medications I'm on now, I know that certain medications that if I miss multiple doses for multiple days, it could cause me to have seizures or anything related to that. Put me in a tachycardic state for my one medication. And so I try to stay very diligent on taking my medications. The longest I've ever gone with these new medications has been 2 days without remembering to take it again. So I figure 2 days is not too bad, especially for how forgetful I am. So the 7-day pill bottle, I recommend that for everyone who's taking pills, especially if you're taking multiple in the morning and multiple at night. I do split up my doses. I take doses in the morning and I take doses at night. So, and afternoon doses for a certain medication, but that's for long-term anxiety treatment. It's the gabapentin. However, everything else is set up in the morning and night slots, and I would suggest that to anybody who takes medication regularly, is to get a pill bottle that you can put your pills in so you remember, you know what day it is, because I know, me personally, I forget what day it is sometime. I remind myself with my pill bottles, things like that. So yeah, so basically all I want to say is don't stop taking your medication cold turkey. Perhaps have someone watching you in maybe even a distant manner, just to make sure that you're doing good and you're not starting to show those signs that you may have stopped your medication, because at the time it sounded like a bright idea, which of course it's not. And then just really take care of yourself. I want nothing for the best for everyone out there that's suffering from this illness. I want you to be happy. I want you to feel better. And if you haven't found the right dose yet of medication, or the right medications in general, keep trying. It's going to be worth it when you find that right medication. I know that I struggled since I was 17 years old to find the right medication to treat my illness, and I have just recently found it late last year. And so basically, keep trying. Don't give up. And if you ever need anything, I am here for you. I'm here for you as a friend, as a confidant, as somebody who truly cares about your well-being and wants you to get better and wants you to help yourself. Because well-being in the mental state is so important, and people disregard it a lot of times, but you shouldn't. And don't feel ashamed, because even if we are judged by some, we are feeling better internally. And forget them. Don't need them in our lives. So, take your medications regularly, people. Don't quit your medications cold turkey. And stay on top of it and keep trying. This has been the Bipolar Lesbian. Thank you again for listening to my ums and ands all throughout the video. And I'll see you guys next time. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day. And I wish nothing but the best for you. Have a good one.